King of the World chat. It's two stupid dogs, except the dogs are
Is the Angry Beaver intro?
people.
Where y'all, they had to buff y'all. Y'all were such dog shit. The mute button on the mic.
Abusing the shit out of it.
Too soon. So I wasn't saying Kobe like, helicopter crash. I guess I didn't need that distinction.
Kobe.
A lot of game industries, if they would just lean back into the things they used to have, not only would they get fans returning, but they would be getting...
It was fun as shit, but I know it wasn't fun for the people on the other end of it. You do not remember what you're talking about. You don't remember what you're talking about. What is wrong with... Dude, when you see it, when you see my version... No, listen.
Most anal bunch there is.
Because those people look like they're ready to just rip things apart, like with excitement. Mine smells like onions.
Penguin?
And Saint Attila raised the hand grenade up on high, saying, O Lord, bless this thy podcast, that with it we may blow thine enemies to tiny bits. Welcome to King of the World chat, where the points are made up, and the tiny bits don't matter.
How high do we count?
Praise be. How high?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, you started the idiom of the holy hand grenade. I kind of need...
And 3 shall be the number for counting. No more, no less.
All right, thank you. It would have been bugged me the entire time. What another week indeed. But it's a first spooky week.
Spooky week.
Well, spooky month.
Spooky month. Boo.
Which means it's that time of month again.
It's that time of the month.
It's gonna get scary. We should probably do some talking about scary stuff.
What's scary? What scared you the most when you were a kid?
Anything that basically gets the horror tag put on it.
But what scared you the most when you were a kid?
Oh, what scared me?
Yeah.
Probably a still frame from one of the Flash games on Albino.
Oh, you're giving a very specific example.
Yeah, and it's from a movie. I just don't know what movie.
You know what I always thought was freaky?
Well, you asked me, hey, what scared you as a kid?
Yeah. No, I figured it would have been more general. I figured it would have been like The Dark or something like that.
Well, yeah, I was scared of the dark as a kid. It's dark. And
as an
adult, fuck the light. Can't be standing that shit.
You know what freaked me out as a kid? And this was even a little bit older. Like, what? I was probably like just barely a teenager or about to be. I don't remember. The Crazy Floyd episode of
that definitely gave me a good scare.
That was freaky.
Yeah.
But I was always afraid of scary. I was always afraid of crazy people. Yeah, dude. Crazy people scared me when I was a little kid. Yeah. Wasn't afraid of ghosts.
Well, dude, it's because it's a human body that's just basically a random number generator, whatever it's going to do.
They're unpredictable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A lot of my friends that I play volleyball with, these, like I said, they're like, some of them 50, 60 years old, all immigrants from Vietnam from a long time ago. Some of them refugees from the Vietnam War. Cool dudes. There's a couple of them that love to gamble. And it is just like, they gamble on every sport that they can. Like, I'm sitting there with them last night. We finished up playing some volleyball. We're having a beer. I'm watching them watch their phones and their box scores. So they're sitting there going back and forth about this game and that game. And I'm jumping in with some comments about football and stuff. And then I'm like, I look at one of them. This is this guy, Kevin. Kevin is fucking hilarious, dude. Kevin is like 63 years old. He is like, he spikes the ball like a fucking madman. You would never know he's 63 years old. He's like Master Roshi in real life in more ways than one. Sometimes, like the other day, we're standing there, we're playing volleyball. He's on my team. Ball goes behind us rolls off into the field. There's a path that walks right past the volleyball court and the beach volleyball court. And there is a girl, an attractive girl, walking in one direction. And like they hit the ball, goes over our head. We turn around and Kevin's like, oh my God. And everybody thinks he's talking about the ball. I know what he's talking about. I look at him, I said, Kevin, you're not talking about the ball. And he just starts laughing. He's like, you know me, man. He's like, so I said, you know what? I can tell when there's a hot girl somewhere nearby in the vicinity just by watching all of you guys. I was like, because your play goes to shit out of nowhere.
You choose to hang out with a bunch of
these guys are fucking great at volleyball. It is so fun. Like, I have so much fun hanging out with them, but they're just sitting there watching their box scores. And I look at them and I'm like,
old men and trying to relive your sports days.
I played volleyball in the 4th grade.
I was like, didn't you play volleyball?
Dude, basically no. Like I've
They don't have men's league past like.
Yeah, they do.
elementary.
Yeah, they do. There's an
Contact.
Olympic team, but I called Kevin out on it yesterday. I'm like, because I mentioned a couple of things about football. I'm like, oh yeah, they mentioned Texas Tech, and I was like, oh yeah, they went for it 8 times against Texas on 4th down, and they got it 6. Nobody says anything. I was like, do you guys even watch the games, or do you just watch the box scores? And Kevin's like, he just starts laughing. He's like, no, man. He's like, we just watch it for the gambling. He's like, we don't even know what's going on in the sport. He doesn't watch the game. He knows football. Like, he mostly remembers like old school players. And, that's when he was really watching it. But now he just gambles on everything.
All right.
It's insane. Anyways.
You're gonna have a gambling problem in your later years.
No, hell no. I'm not big on gambling at all. I've never been interested in gambling. It seems like a waste of money to me. Like, I like to gamble when there's no fucking money involved. Like, I like to make called Ragnaros shots, but no, dude, I have no interest in like throwing money at things and putting money on the line just for like,
Okay.
I never have.
All right.
I didn't like the fucking slot machines in Pokemon Red and Blue.
You only play those because you need a Dratini.
I didn't even do that. I did that one time, I think, actually. And I just like cheated because there's that one slot machine on Red and Blue. Or is it Gold and Silver?
It is. That's a myth.
No, it isn't. There's one that actually gives
no fucking slot machine.
Oh my god. Bro, Garrett. Sometimes, man, there is a certain slot machine in Red and Blue, I think, that has a much higher chance for you to win.
I'll look it up later to confirm because I have a green switch keyboard and apparently that's bad to do while recording.
What?
I
Looking
already
things
said
up?
it. What?
What? Looking things up?
No, that's not what I said.
What'd you say?
You weren't listening?
No, I couldn't hear you. Garrett, that happens a lot, dude. I don't know if you've noticed, but like there's a lot of stuff that we miss.
Okay. Well, moving on.
You're not going to tell me what you said.
You'll hear it in post, but
Well, there absolutely is a slot machine. It's either in red or blue.
like I said, I'll look it up later.
That has a higher chance of
Figure
winning.
it out. It didn't matter which slot machine I used. They all worked the same.
No, there's one. It's
And
like
it's usually about 10, 15 pools.
this isn't one of
13.
those where it's like, oh, the Mew is under the truck kind of thing. Even though it was possible to catch Mew in a non-hacked version of the game.
Yeah, you have to cause, but it's still, you're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
causing it to
exactly.
do what it's not supposed to do.
Yeah, you're loading stuff into memory and forcing situations. It's not like a legit thing. But speaking of,
Which there was old games that was the game.
well, this is something I thought about yesterday as a topic that we could go on about for maybe a long time or a little time. We'll just see. It's definitely something that is big, and it's related to what you brought up a moment ago when you said gambling. RNG in
I didn't bring
games.
up gambling. You brought
Yeah, you
up
did. No,
gambling.
you said you're going to have a gambling problem when you're older, and I was like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, but you're the one that started that conversation.
I brought up gambling,
No, it
yes. but
does. You
I
said
brought up,
I'm the one that
I brought up gambling,
You
yes.
brought
But
up
what I
gambling.
mean is when you said you're going to have a gambling problem, that's what made me think of this. And I thought about it
Okay.
either yesterday
don't
or the day
get
before.
misconstrued.
It's not important. The point is, the other day I thought about it and I was like, hey, that's something that we could talk about on the podcast. It's very prevalent in all games. It absolutely has a place in games. Random number generators. RNGesus. Like randomness in games.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Because you have to have some amount of randomness to make certain mechanics work or have fun.
Randomness is what gives the air of mystery and like excitement to everything you do.
Exactly.
Like, it's never the same loot that comes off the boss, or well, at least it shouldn't be. But
Well,
or
that's what I'm
very
saying.
rarely,
We
you know?
agree. Most people would agree. Most people with the brain would agree that, like, hey, random number RNGesus definitely has a place in fun games. But there's a point at which if you could have too much of it, then it stops being fun, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, kind of like what World of Warcraft did with some of their epics. They started doing them like the greens, so you could get an epic drop and it'd be some bullshit like
Or when they stack
spirit
systems.
and stamina, and you're like,
Yeah. Or when they would stack systems on top of systems like the corruptions and the essences and the Titan forging and all that.
yeah,
So it's like you don't just get the gear anymore. Now you need the best version of it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it can get bad really quickly.
Yeah,
So
very easily.
like we agree that that's where it is, but like if we had to try and find the line, like what is a game
So
that has
I think the line is basically at a point where it's like, okay, so where do you want the RNG? It's like, for example, if you're out in the world, you want the RNG to be the random events that would happen to you, such as like games like Red Dead, you know, where as you're out, there's just a chance that when you come across this area that this might be happening, or, you know, along those lines. Where you also want random, the RNG is you're going to want it in pretty much like the treasure chest or the loot boxes you hide from out there. You know, there
loot
should
boxes.
be some items that are consistent, you know, with their environment, but there should always be that one chance that there's a roll of, you know, something that isn't, you know, that's out of the ordinary. And that's the part that people go looking for. You know, that's
it's
the
like
fun
we
of it.
said in that episode where we were talking about sneaking out of the house. It felt like anything could happen. Eventually we took that to like, oh, it felt like we could do whatever we wanted. But what I meant to say at one point was, hey, when you were out at night and your parents didn't know where you were, it really felt like anything could happen. And that could be good or bad. Like you said, it was that adrenaline rush from the very time that we ran out and it's like, are the dogs going to give
Yeah.
us trouble or not tonight?
I
Like,
mean, I guess I can see it, but a lot of those were influenced by the decisions we made.
of
Like,
course. No, I'm not saying it was complete RNG. I'm just saying
yeah,
like,
I would say like we're
but it's
talking
exciting.
about like, yeah. But we're
So-
talking about, you know, I thought we were talking about RNG and application, not
well, yeah,
like,
no, in the games, absolutely. Like, and
yeah. I wasn't talking about IRL. That's a whole nother
well, I mean, it's everywhere. It's life sometimes.
well,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, but I mean, granted, they're the same thing, but not in like real world and video game. You know, those
well,
are
I'm
two
not
different
trying to,
RNG.
like I said, I just was making a one-off about how it was like, hey, like that was
Right.
exciting. Like that was part of what was exciting about it was like, oh, it feels
That-
like.
the real part is you're free. You get the decision. That
Well, it's
was
not
the
just
big-
that. Like taking it back to what you said about the games a second ago, is it's like when it feels like there's that mystery and anything can happen, that is exciting. That's fun.
Yeah. I
When
mean,
you're out in the grass in a Pokemon game, it's no fun if you know exactly what you're going to run into. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Though at times you do wish it was that way.
Oh, yeah,
Just because you're
absolutely.
hunting shinies. You signed up for that.
Oh, yes. And then you're talking like 1 in 8,000, was it originally?
Oh, man.
Something like that.
Oh, man.
They've changed it to like 1 in 4,000 in some of the later games. But that's which is
Oh,
still a
that's
big
lame.
number. Yeah. But it's like half what it was.
Dude, I spent 3 days looking for a shiny Ditto.
I remember when you told me about that. You found a lot of shinies when you were playing Sun and Moon.
Dude, I know what I'm doing. You know, shiny hunting was something I figured out how to do back
Dude,
in
it's
Red.
huge on Twitch. People
Because as soon as I
love
saw
to do
the
that.
red Gyarados, I was like, what's that?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, people love like randomness. Is
That
like,
wasn't red, though. That was silver, wasn't it? Red Gyarados?
yeah,
Silver?
yeah, you know, it's silver.
Yeah, I was like, because I don't think I knew
Gold
about
and
shiny
silver.
Pokemon in red. I don't think I did to that point.
No, I didn't either.
I'm saying straight true.
I think that might be when they got invented. Was in the second gen.
I'm going to be honest, I think they're in the first gen.
I don't remember, but we could look that up
I
as
do.
well.
I'm going to say, well, you look it up because I'm not allowed to look things up.
You're not allowed to look things up.
No, remember, I have a green switch keyboard.
No,
The
if
sound
you
of- the sound
notice,
of my
if
Alpha
you'll
keyboard-
notice,
Are you using Austin's old keyboard?
yeah, it's a Razer something or other.
Why don't I ever hear it? You don't have green switch keys.
You can
do
hear it. You can hear it if I type too. You can.
So
it's not
are
as
they
loud
good-
as yours, but it
What
is.
is? You know what? I like. I don't remember. I remember. I think Austin had.
I don't
what
know,
switch
dude.
Did he have? I don't think it was green switch.
No, it's they're.
'Cause Austin wasn't a fan of the mechanical sound either. You know.
I like the sound, but
Oh
I
yeah.
just
Well, I mean, dude. Of course you do. That's the alpha in you. But you know, your beta comes out when you hear mine. Because
I'm
that's
gonna be
real
honest, guys that talk about alpha like that, that's usually like pretty.
They go to Twin Peaks.
Yeah. So, like, where's the line on when RNG starts to feel bad? Like, name a game where it's like,
Okay,
Too
so
much
one of
RNG.
the first places I noticed where RNG feels bad wasn't because World of Warcraft didn't do that switch yet. Where the first place RNG felt bad was actually in Destiny. Everything about that just seemed like, eh. You know, it was. I don't know.
Destiny
whether it
was a
like
Skinner
you got
box
the
machine.
loot or
Destiny was a
Like-
Skinner box machine. It definitely, that was the first time I felt like a game, once someone identified that to me, it felt like it was trying to. I was talking to Mom the other night about like the design of games, how it's done by like.
It seemed like something wasn't finished.
Well, it's not just that. Is it felt like it was directed at manipulating my psychology. Like it was like, hey, we're just trying to make you fill the. Everything in Destiny was filling up those circles. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, the PvP was fun.
No, the PvP was fun, dude. I watched some of my
Especially
clips.
when you had Last Word and Thorn.
Dude, I watched
Whoa.
PvP clips from 7 years ago on
I've
my
still got some old
Xbox
ones.
capture. Hell yeah, man. The
I've
PvP
got
was
some
fun.
epic of those Warlock Void throws, dude, across the map.
Dude, I had Vex Mythoclast from.
Too soon? Because I wasn't saying Kobe like, helicopter crash. I was saying like Kobe sinked a bucket, but I guess it didn't need that distinction.
Kobe.
Oh, damn.
What was it? The Crystal Vaults of Time, or what was their first raid called in Destiny? I don't remember what it was.
Vault of Glass, I thought.
Vault of Glass, that was it. I got Vex Mythoclast the first time I finished that, or the second time, I don't remember which it was. And it was post PvP nerf, and that gun still, it was like a super fast BR, like in Halo or something is what it felt like. I knew it wasn't fair. I was like, this is, in PvP, it was fun as shit, but I know it wasn't fun for the people on the other end of it. Like,
I was like, yeah, I didn't have a Vex Mythoclast.
dude, that gun was awesome.
I had a Gallahorn, I had a Last Word, I had a Thorn. Can't remember what the assault rifle one was. I can see the picture of the thumbnail in my head, but I can't.
There was so many exotics.
And I had some exotic headgear and some exotic chests.
Destiny was cool, but eventually it did feel like, oh, this game is like hacking my brain to make me want to play
Yeah,
it.
it just did. It didn't hold to what it was supposed to be. You
We
know
put
what
a
I'm saying?
lot of time into it before it got to that point, though.
Yeah, me and Isaac should just straight up cheese Hunger Crota the entire way.
We
through.
talked about that on one of the last episodes. I don't know if it made it in or not, but everybody cheesed Crota. I remember when we did it legit the first time I did it, I pugged it with a bunch of people and we did it legit. We spent like 3 hours doing it. And dude, when we finished that, it was like a fucking drama time wow moment where everybody was just yelling into the party chat. It was awesome. It felt really good. And then like a week later was when making him stay on his knee forever came out, and then it was like, okay, and that's what everyone did from then on. But we did get it legit once, and it was a big moment because you had to like run that. It was like a totem or something. You remember?
Yeah,
like
I remember the fight, kinda.
Dude, I remember when the guy that was supposed to have it, he died like up near Crota when it was a phase where everybody had to run and hide from something, and I just was like, okay, this is it's got to be done. And I just fucking jumped out there, went for it, picked it up, ran it back. And it was one of those moments where you're like, fuck yeah.
You played a hunter.
Fucking Sunslinger Hunter Master Race, bro.
Master Race. Y'all were piss poor.
No, dude, it was fun as shit.
Y'all were shit.
No, they were not shit, dude.
Dude,
No.
y'all were. They
Bro.
had to buff y'all. Y'all were such dog shit.
It was not dog shit. You do not
Yes,
remember
you
what
were.
you're talking about. You don't remember what you're
Of
talking
course,
about.
I
I'm
really
not going to
shouldn't say
argue with
much
you
'cause
about
I
it.
played Warlock in my class was never bad.
Warlock was good, but Gunslinger was good for a while.
Start that way.
No, dude, Gunslinger was never super
You just
bad.
made the wrong choice at the beginning.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not even close. I never felt bad about Hunter.
Bro, that's why you started saying Master Race.
No, I
That's
started
why you
saying that
started
because of
saying all
Reddit.
that shit.
I saw that joke on Reddit and I thought it was hilarious. And I was like,
Yeah, and you admit right now it was a joke.
no, because they didn't actually think they were a master race. But yeah, no, Hunter was like, it was absolutely,
Yeah,
no,
they just
no,
get the class
dude,
to the point
no,
that
it was
was
not like those guys, including myself, thought it was bad. And we're like, oh, we're the master. It was like, I never felt bad about being a Hunter. That was a good choice. In fact, I never even went Blade Dancer. I tried to go Blade Dancer for 1 or 2 encounters. And I was
Blade
like,
Dancer was the way better spec.
for a little while, but no, it was not the way better spec. Like it was,
Bro, it handled way better.
no, it didn't. It really didn't. I don't know why you keep making these statements like you played Hunter
Dude,
a bunch
it
in the
was
first
fun.
place.
Running around that quick stab, that was fun.
No,
but
it was-
I am biased towards melee.
Bro,
So
you played a Warlock.
yeah, I know.
Do you know what was the best part about playing a gunslinger?
I had a gunslinger. You know that.
Do you know
right?
what the best part about playing a gunslinger was?
The golden gun is just one shotting people like
Popping
golden.
the golden gun
Yeah.
and blowing up.
Yeah.
Hold on, I just heard myself. I don't know why all of a sudden, but I can hear my audio coming through your speakers, which is going to
Yeah.
echo. Hey, this is Hydemore. We had some technical difficulties at this point in the show with an echo. What I meant to say was, my favorite part was using the golden gun to pop a Titan's bubble shield when they didn't know that it would kill them. We hope you're enjoying the show. If you are, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Thanks. Okay, I started the recording. Just now.
See, and this is actually good because it gives me. It's kind of like my fidget spinner. It gives me something to do while I'm doing all this. Because I just got to keep the brain active.
It's not that you're keeping your brain active. Like, I use a thing too.
Sometimes, boy.
You can't see it right now, but when you watch this later on, if it makes it to the cut, this little cube that Null Mutex printed out 3D, I spin that. Like,
Yeah, I did. I have one.
I know you do because it's half
Do you
of
have the
mine.
octopus?
It's half of mine. The octopus?
What do you mean half of yours?
You've got the blue and black one as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did do that, didn't we?
I thought Matt did that.
Oh, I thought we did. We
No,
both.
he gave it to me like this, where it was like half blue and half black.
Okay.
But I have the blue core. You have the black core, I would imagine.
The demon core.
Yeah, because he would have printed it like with the same. No, I spin one. I use something too. It's what you're actually doing if it's an ADHD thing, is your brain is offloading excess, essentially computing power. So
Too
it's
much
giving you something to
CPU.
do so you can focus better.
Pretty sure they have something for that.
What do you mean?
They have something to correct the offload, I guess.
No, it doesn't. The medicine that you take doesn't exactly do that. What it does, basically, your synapses are basically a little bit more spaced. So the contact points, if it was like electricity, because it is your brain, right? Like the contactors don't quite touch. So sometimes the signals don't fire the same way a normal brain does. And so it helps to correct that some. That's basically what the medicine does. Effectively, it has a similar effect to the offloading, but if I understand that correctly, which I probably don't. So if you're a psychiatrist or someone that's studying brain chemistry and you would like to correct me, feel free to do so in the comments section below. You know what's interesting about random numbers and random number generators while we're talking about that earlier?
What?
It's actually very hard to get true randomness. I don't know if you've ever looked into that or not. I had a computer science teacher at University of Texas. His name, I shit you not, Michael Scott.
Wow.
Very, very smart dude. Like, you would have liked him. Nothing like...
honest, it's kind of a common name, it seems like. It's
you would think so, yeah, because it's
David
Michael and Scott.
Smith or John Doe or...
Exactly. But he explained it one time. He was basically saying that, like, you remember the seeds from Minecraft? Like, whenever you start a Minecraft server,
Yeah. What about them?
you put in a seed, and then, like, if you use the same one, you get, like, a similar world, biomes and all that stuff, basically, right?
Yeah, it sets up a similar algorithm. Why?
Well, a seed essentially is like, if you roll the dice 100 times, that seed is going to give you the same series of rolls. So if your seed was like Bob, and Bob meant the first roll was a 6, and the next one was a 9, and the next one was a 4, and the next one was a 2, and the next one was a 0. Every time you put in Bob, you would always get that 6, 9, 4, 2, 0 every time, because that seed is that series of numbers. That's what most, quote, randomness works on in the computing world, is seeds, which are not truly random, right? Because if you use the same seed, you will get the same rolls. So they're like, okay, well, how do you get true randomness? There are entire studies of computer science developed to trying to come up with truly random ways to do it. And it's really interesting without going into it too much. One of the ways they've done it is they put like a microphone in a room that's just recording like the ambient noise, and it's using those sounds and the waveforms from that audio file to essentially create a random like set of seeds, for lack of a better way to say it. There's one that like reads a lava lamp. Like it looks at the amount of light in a particular part of the lava lamp, which of course would be different all the time. And it uses that to generate its random. There's another one that worked on like the vibrations of the Earth's like tectonic plates, I think, or something. It was really crazy. But he's like, yeah, it's actually really hard to get truly random numbers. So most random numbers are not their seeds, and they're not truly random when you actually get down to it.
At least in the computing world.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna be like, dude, life is pretty freaking random.
Well, yeah, but that's what you were saying earlier when you were like talking about how. I mean, we were talking about it in the context of gaming. Yeah, I think we identified that, like at times, like within certain games, like WoW itself or an MMO or pretty much anything where you've got to loot things, it's like you need that randomness because that's what makes loot fun. I think that's part of the reason Battle Royale games work so well and are so popular. It's because even though, like you and me, people that weren't like growing up when those games came out, you play it and you probably had a similar. I think we had that discussion one time where it was like, I spent more time loading into the rounds than I did actually playing the game, right? Because maybe the round is over like that for you, and that feels bad. But what makes it addicting is running into the building, opening the box, and it's like, oh, is the weapon going to be purple? Is it going to be an orange weapon? You know what I mean? Is it going to be an epic, or is it going to be a whatever, legendary or exotic or whatever it is? And it's like people are getting those dopamine hits from really quick running in, looting the thing. It's like looter shooters. I think that's really what makes it addicting, in part, the battle royales. But like you talk about something,
because the way they essentially did that was by devaluing the loot. You know, like if you're gonna have a quick dopamine hit, you need to be able to replace whatever. So the only way to do that is to constantly remove the inventory. But most people are not gonna like that in a game because we like to, you know, our generation like to earn and keep things. Part of the game.
I think that's true for everybody too.
Collectibles and, you know, like
yeah.
Even the Nintendo days, like for example, you remember the old Spider-Man game?
Yeah.
There were hidden areas to find where you could get Spider-Man comics.
Oh, you're talking the old Spider-Man, the one on the N64.
N64.
Yeah.
Like that's how old this is, dude. Like the idea of sticking these hidden, you know, little trophies and Easter eggs all throughout the level, you know, that like the developers would take time to, you know, hide and these subtle nuances.
Well, that's how they made replay value back in the day as well, because you didn't have as much in the game. It was levels instead of like the open world. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter where they're at. The fact is they're there, you know.
No, I'm just saying is you're like
I get, but what the point
Easter eggs and secrets.
The point I'm making is there was a we like when we played games, you wanted to basically build off yourself and then basically get to the mountaintop, you know, and you didn't want to just have the mountaintop, you know, you wanted to have every pathway to the mountaintop with everything that you could collect on the way to the mountaintop. So it was just like, you know, we wanted to have the trophy room. And one thing, if you could ask probably anyone
well,
on
it's just what we grew up with.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you could seriously, like, if we all had some way to have every single trophy from every single game we ever earned in one central place, you know, that to most people, that would be like
they would look like Smash Bros. Well, Melee with all the trophies.
Yeah, and it was exactly, you know, all your basically your gaming life's achievement,
which would devalue them as well, because.
No, because
to some extent,
you gotta remember, how is it devalued? Because the whole point is for you to remember when you did it and like.
Yeah, but when there's a sea of them all in one place, you can't really you can't understand.
I don't think you understand how many that would be.
Less than you think, probably, but.
I think it's a lot more than you realize.
No, that's my point, which is what would devalue it. That's what I was saying. But I thought you were saying.
No, dude, because in that sense, the larger, the better.
Well,
the more like.
I don't think it's just a generational thing. I really think I know a lot of.
No, I'm not.
Oh yeah, no, I know you're not saying
because,
that.
You know, it depends on what you had when you were growing up.
Exactly.
You know,
That's what I get irritated with a lot of times. Well, we're older now. You know what I mean? It's like when they talk about like TikTok or like battle royales or something like that, and they're like, oh, these kids today with their battle passes, and it's like, dude, if you grew up with that shit as a kid too, it would probably have been just as big a deal to you.
Yeah, you know, like you would have enjoyed whatever was, you know, out for your time. So it's like you call people who like Fortnite morons. No, well, you know,
I don't do that.
I mean, you might meme them a little because you know they do have, you know, their community and it's kind of hilarious. But once again, you know, still it's their time, it's their generation. You know, that's what they like to play. You know. And to them, they're probably looking forward to the future of like, hey, what's it going to be like, you know, in the next 10 years?
the unknown, the random number, the randomness of it, what it could be, the mystery.
Exactly. Yeah, you see, that's one of the deals that a lot of people just seem to miss. So like, I just wish that that not every single company catered to just that, because that's part of what creates these stigmas in the first place. Is the industry doesn't diversify itself very well anymore.
There's a meta for everything, and everybody's trying to do that basically.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like, for example, if Monopoly's the game, everybody's making their version of Monopoly.
Right.
And I think that's part of the problem.
Follow the money. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and I think a lot of game industries, if they would just lean back into the things they used to have, not only would they get fans returning, but they would be getting this generation into other stuff, because there's plenty of them that would probably play a real-time strategy or RPG like Dragon's Age, or the first Dragon's Age and first Mass Effect, or something along the lines of say the first Final Fantasy, a turn-based combat system that is something generally viewed as archaic, or maybe even further back. Games like Dark Cloud, where it's a JRPG, where they have those
Dark Cloud. That was a cool game.
Oh yeah, with those Resident Evil style cutscenes, interactable cutscenes, and whatnot.
Quick time events. Yeah.
Yeah, things that made you feel like more immersed into the game. Things that made you, they just held your attention. And
reach out and touch somebody.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, and I'm not saying that this generation has an attention span problem, because you got to remember.
We do. We all do. It's getting worse.
But like, a lot of people say that they don't have enough attention to play a game like that because they're battle royale players. It's like, no, you got to remember, there's a lot they're doing, and that is a tiring thing. Standout VR is the closest I get, and it's not just the physical aspect of being tiring, but that constant looking around and hunting and not getting your head blown off by some sniper.
But it's high energy almost all the time, which is what I think part of it is going for too. It's like, that's what we've identified earlier, talking about random numbers makes it fun, because like you said, it's that excitement. And I think that BRs are a result of, like you said, that meta of, I really thought about this earlier in the week when I was talking about, at some point a long time ago, you and I were having a conversation before we had a podcast where I made an example to you that's like, the gaming community nowadays is like a bullet train or like a subway, where it's like, it moves super fast. Like, a game is relevant for like a month, if it's lucky sometimes. And people might get off at that point in the station and play it for a while, but most people are going to get back on. They're going to go to the next thing. So developers are facing a problem of, how do we get people to play our game longer? So they're going to direct, it's like you said with Destiny and like Fortnite or Apex or whatever. They're like, okay, how do we keep them engaged now? It's like TikTok. You're watching 15-second videos that you just scroll through, and it's hard to get away from it. It's addicting because there's not well-defined stop and start points. Like, as soon as you finish a match in a BR, you're like, fuck. Okay, next one. Like, load into the next one almost immediately. You know what I mean? It's just keeping you there. How long can they keep you there? It's not even like a buffet. It's more like a buffet. It's like a 72-course meal where they bring you like a bite or something like that every time, and they're just constantly bringing it to you.
Yeah, and then and it's just one of those deals where it's like, if they would just, like, if you want someone to stick around a game longer, develop it more. You
would
know?
think, yeah.
It's like, yeah. The problem is, and I understand that the developers are currently in a struggle with really, I think, leadership on all sides. I think too many. I think the board members, if they have them, are too involved, where they want quick turnaround cash rather than creating a cult following that's gonna, create basically.
Well, it's got to make money
for the next 40, 60 years.
Right.
If half of there's plenty of old game franchises that if they were still around making games the way they had, they'd probably still be, doing pretty well in business. For example, you don't really see much coming out of Resident Evil much, though the last one, 6, was.
No, dude, the last one was, you're 2 behind. The last one was The Village.
The Village?
Yeah.
What you mean?
It was like Biohazard.
Yeah,
I didn't play it, but it was supposed to be very good.
Biohazard either.
Biohazard was good.
Has a VR one, and that's
That would be amazing in VR. That would be fun as shit.
Yeah.
That game was scary without. Speaking of, it's spooky. It's spooky month. Like, okay, that was a really good segue actually. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard or whatever. I don't think it's called 7. It's just Biohazard. They developed like hide and seek. The Neighbor. What is that game? My Neighbor or whatever. You know what I mean? It's a piece.
You're the one who played it. I didn't.
It was fun too. Like, but it's just like it's an AI that's basically playing hide and seek with you.
It's horror survival.
And like that was a lot of fun, even when it wasn't in VR. In VR, that would be awesome. Which, if you're interested in VR, you should listen to our last episode. We had some really cool people that knew nothing about VR told me, "Hey, that was really interesting." So go check it out. It's spooky month. Like sometimes that unknown factor is what makes things scary. And it becomes less scary the more you've done it and the more you can predict it and the more easily it is predictable.
Yeah. And you see, once again, you need randomness there to create that mystery because it also can create anxiety at the same time. So like if you don't know, like there's times in say like in Dread Halls where you hear like the monsters make sometimes specific sounds and they don't like make the same sounds depending on how far you are. It's never a set distance or what sound you're going to hear. It's just like it's one of those deals where it's like, okay, they could be in the next room or they could be down the hallway or they could already be behind me because
it's supposed to keep you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, so like when you hear them, you know that they're basically rendered into the game though. They're there.
Yeah, it's like it's somewhere. Like it's on the loot table. Like
You see, because that's one of the things about VR. They give you a sixth sense sometimes with all the like in games you just think of it as a notification noise. In VR, it becomes your sixth sense. You know, it's like using the force to feel the danger. And when you have a good, you know, surround sound system, like when I'm using my Razer Man of War with the Razer audio on there, man, I'm telling you, like what I would do sometimes in Island 359, if I was having trouble finding things, you just take a good old Tim Tebow, just shut your eyes and listen because you can hear their footstep. And then you're like, that direction. And you just get up and go. And sure enough, you'll find a pack of them.
You know what I want?
What do you want?
I want to be able to smell the danger.
That is actually already available. It's called the Vasco Bar. It works for one of the games I have, Sorrento VR. You can smell the
Tabasco bar?
Vasco.
They missed an opportunity there.
You can take a look at it. It's a little bar that goes under the visor in the front.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Smell-o-vision.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you can smell VR.
Does it stink?
I don't know. I don't have one. I assume so.
Well,
it's a bar that is just made to smell. You know, like.
So it's a stick of deodorant.
Like, that's one of the things that turned me away from it because I was like, dude, is it something you can rupture? Because sometimes, you know, I run into the wall and I don't want to stink bomb my wall or something like that, you know?
Why do they call deodorant if it actually makes things smell?
Because the smell isn't one you would call an odor. They're using a play of words there.
Do you think there's a parallel universe where like deodorant sticks actually create some sort of smell vacuum where it like you put it on and then it's like a void of no smell?
That's actually what they're working on.
That's cool.
Yep. Because they found out that basically it's not your it's a bacteria that grows under your armpits that makes them smell.
Mine smells like onions when it's bad.
Feels bad, I guess.
It's better than Cool Ranch Doritos.
Like French heritage or something.
A what?
I guess that means you have like a French heritage or something.
Onions?
Yeah, I'm saying, dude, they use onion in everything.
Everybody uses onions.
No one uses onions like the French.
Where were onions first?
The French use the onion so much that they even have their own style of cutting the son of a bitch.
That's true. Central Asia is where onions were first believed to. Other researchers say, okay,
Bro,
Central Asia.
It don't matter where.
Other research suggests onions were first grown in Iran and West Pakistan. There we go. Don't say we didn't teach you nothing.
I'm gonna say, dude, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know what the cuisine of Pakistan would be.
You've never had Middle Eastern food?
Like I know like there's certain things from like Middle
Okay.
Eastern. But
Next time you come, you need to come up to. Next time you come to town, we need to go. I need to go show you some places where you can try some Middle Eastern food.
Okay, yeah, I'm saying I'm down, dude. I'm always down for a culinary adventure.
Have you had Indian food?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Oh, there's a place over here called Hearthstone. Ooh.
It's called Hearthstone.
Yeah. I
Are they getting sued by Blizzard?
No. No,
Not
no,
yet.
no. They can't. They don't own Hearthstone. Hearthstone is an old ass term. You can't
Try to
own-
make a game called
Dude,
Hearthstone and see how if you hear
No,
from
no,
the
no, no.
lawyers.
You can't make a game called Hearthstone.
The hell I
But-
can't.
Dude, I like. Okay, I don't think you understand how the law works. Like,
That's what lawyers are for.
yeah, and I'm not claiming to be one.
Let's
But
say, is this legal advice?
it is not. I would not listen to anything I say actually in this point.
We could get
Because
the
that
boys
would
in the
be
legal
just
department
telling
on
them-
it.
Huh?
We could get the boys in the legal department on it.
Yeah. You got that, Jay? Yeah, you got that.
Let's
He's
work
gotta
on
get experience so he can
suing
get hired into a real firm.
Sar Garrett for his legal advice that he was definitely giving us in the middle of this episode.
Actually, no, I wouldn't give him no legal advice.
I'm suing him. You guys can't sue him. So get your own lawsuit.
I don't like the idea of this being in the. I don't like the joke of being sued. Not in
It's
America.
not a joke. You're about to be served papers as we
Wow,
speak.
really? I'm being sued by my own brother? That's fucked up. Wow. That makes you Kane.
No.
Yeah, you're suing me, bro. That is like political murder.
Political murder. Now it's getting political. Now we're political.
Diplomatic murder then? Is that would be a better term? Would that be the preferred term?
Mermaid murder.
Mermaid, murder.
Mermaid murder. Murder.
William Murderface, Murderface, Murderface.
And don't just buy booze. That ain't food.
I guess we can call that a Metalocalypse moment.
A Metalocalypse moment.
We can't play
I think
their
that show's
music.
coming back.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm gonna be honest, we can't play their music because Brendan Small is the kind of douchebag that would sue, anybody. He'd be
Fuck
the kind of guy who would definitely sue Napster.
Lars Ulrich. Anyone? It's like we said earlier. We both identified that crazy people, mentally unstable, the idea of like a stark raving lunatic, like was a scary thing. And I think part of that is mostly in that they're unpredictable,
Yeah.
which people really aren't predictable, except in groups when you really get down to it. Individuals, it's sometimes hard to, you can't predict an individual.
Yeah, I mean, really anybody, even someone like who has a routine, you just never know when the roll of the dice is different. So, because not everybody does everything the same way every time. We don't like doing that.
Life
Right.
isn't a Mario level where
Yeah,
everything comes scripted.
yeah, but do you always play the Mario level the same way?
If you're a speedrunner, you do, but probably most of us know
Well, once again, speedrunners are like raiders. They're degenerates. They
they break things. Well, it's their job at that point,
Speedrunning is a job.
dude. There's professional speedrunners, absolutely.
Who's paying professional speedrunners?
Lots of people. It's like its own
You can't
esport.
just say lots of people. I need some
It's
names.
like its own esport. You said that as soon as I started to give answers. It's like its own esport. There's streamers. They get sponsors. Like anything that can get an audience, and people tune in, believe it or not, to watch speedruns.
Damn, ESPN is getting desperate.
I didn't say it was ESPN yet, but
Dude, the T Sports is clearly ESPN.
I don't know if it's technically like esports, but I know speedrunning
Is
is
it the same company?
it's a competitive thing for sure. I don't know. I don't know that much about it. I just know
Yeah,
that
but
it is
it might
definitely.
be like the Burger King McDonald's thing. You're competing against yourself.
And see, I was never that much into that kind of stuff, which is why I'm not a big fan of parsing.
Parsing?
Yeah, like your logs on a raid,
Oh, why didn't you just say raid logs?
because a parse is like one run of a dungeon or a raid.
Okay, I'm gonna say like that's too degenerate for me.
It's just the
Like-
word for like if you get like an orange parse, that means you got like a top percentage like ranking on how much damage you did on a run. That's why people will stand in the fire to fucking pump their numbers because they're trying to get their parses up, their individual performance.
Okay, well if you're gonna be doing that, I feel like you should probably get
It's padding your stats.
Huh?
It's like padding your stats.
I guess. I'm gonna be honest though. If you're pulling off the numbers, it clearly shows that you can do it. So you better fucking do it. Not to, with the you don't just use the dolphin, but use the meh meh, ooh.
So you haven't watched the Mario movie teaser trailer yet, have you?
I have not. I'm gonna be honest. When I heard the movie and I heard the lineup, I was like, you didn't hire a single voice actor. Not
Jack
one.
Black has done voice act before, I think. Voice acting. He's probably the closest thing to a voice actor.
Let me ask you a question. Did he try to sound like Bowser or does he sound like Jack Black? Because once again, I haven't seen
I'll
it.
let you make that decision for yourself, but I feel like definitely Jack Black did a good job.
God damn it. I'll just do this now. I don't give a shit.
Generally, people thought that Jack Black's was pretty good. Well, I wanted to ask you before you saw it, who do you think didn't make the cut? Which Mario character, not just in the trailer?
Luigi.
That one is, he's not in it yet. But what was it like if you had to guess a major character in Mario
Waluigi.
that's not in the more major than that? That's not like on the first movie at all. Not just the trailer, but as far as we can tell,
Yoshi?
Yoshi is not in the movie. There's like one poster where you can see a Yoshi egg and people are like, oh, and I'm like, no, dude, I don't think Yoshi's in this movie. I think they're saving him for the sequel, which is almost certainly going to happen because this movie will probably do well despite everything. Although I'm not crazy about the animation style. I don't want to pick it apart. Bowser looks good.
All right, he does try to sound like Bowser.
Hell yeah.
Good job.
Bowser looks good.
Penguins? That's all you show, Luigi?
Yeah.
Really?
People in the comment sections that I saw, they're like, Mario goes to the Happy Mushroom Kingdom. Luigi, he's in hell. He's being chased by like zombies.
To all my player twos out there. Keep it real. Okay, so who voices Mario?
Chris Pratt, you know this.
Really? Okay, I knew that.
Star-Lord.
So I'll give him this. He tried not to sound like Chris Pratt, but he sounds nothing like Mario.
Yeah.
I mean, good God, there's plenty of sound bites for it. Luigi didn't make enough noise for me to tell.
Yeah. It sounds like Charlie from Always Sunny. It's like I cannot not see Always Sunny.
Whoever's playing Toad, they are giving it their best to try.
He is. Keegan-Michael Key is going for it, dude. You got to give him that.
Yeah, he's actually going for it. Like,
you know what I want to do?
Wait, who'd you say was?
Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele.
Oh, from Key and Peele? Oh, shit. Okay, well, no wonder why. Of course he would know. Like, he's actually, competent. I mean, come on. Anyone who can pick up the Chappelle Show and run with it.
I'm going to put together a real quick rendering of that trailer. I'm going to mute everything, and then I'm going to insert all of the sounds from original Mario games. But when I say they messed up, when the fucking K-Mech comes out and introduces Bowser, that should be no, you
can't play that in trailer. You can't play that in trailer. You can't play that in the trailer.
What is wrong with you?
Dude, that's too much.
What is wrong with dude? When you see it, when you see my version, no, listen, he can't see it right now. But when this comes out, you're gonna see it and you're gonna be like, okay, that was badass. You're gonna be like, that was badass.
I'm not denying that. I don't want it in the trailer.
You've already seen how I corrected Luigi on Photoshop.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a very small thing, but it makes me wonder this. What? I'm wondering if have you ever seen the setup for it? It's like where there's like a camera that will literally be like on a little fixture that sits right in front of their face. You ever seen this? It's like they'll almost have a webcam like hooked up that stays right on their face, and then they'll use that to when the animators
to render the facial expression,
and that way they can capture like exactly the actors.
It's
like
motion capture. What about
I feel like if you look at Mario's face and Luigi's face, not on Bowser and not on Toad. Toad and Bowser look perfect, but Mario and Luigi, I'm like, they look a little bit off, and it's because the eyebrows are moving too much. Like the mouth, like and obviously they're like animated, like almost like cartoon characters in the games. You know what I mean? Like Mario. When I looked it up, like Mario's eyebrows are almost always arched the same way, regardless of what expression he's making. And I feel like just those little movements, which probably make for a more expressive character and allows you to like get more emotion from them for the purposes of a movie. But honestly, I think I would have preferred it to look like I don't want Mario to look like Chris Pratt. I don't want Luigi to look like Charlie Day. I want them to look like Mario and Luigi.
Charlie Day is Luigi.
Yes.
Okay, I expect Charlie Day to try to sound like Luigi. He should be someone who knows. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of expect him to know to voice act here.
I think he'll go for it, but based on what I heard, I was like, I did, like I said, as soon as
there's just not enough of him saying anything to know.
Do you know what I think is funny about you saying that though?
What?
There are literally 2 lines. It is the most reaction that has come out since that trailer came out 2 days ago, I think it was everyone is talking about Chris Pratt's voice. He's only got 2 lines and it's a teaser trailer, but still, I'm like, I don't think that was an accident.
No, dude, he doesn't even seem like everybody knows an idea of what Mario should sound like. You know, even if your Nintendo fucked up and he just went to the Nintendo screen and you just heard, "It's a me, a Mario."
That would have been perfect. Like, you would have done a better job. Same, dude. Like,
what?
Yeah, dude, it should
See,
be.
this is my problem with some
Let's
of these
go.
movies. Yeah, let's go.
It should be absolutely, dude. Like, I'm literally gonna do it. It might take me longer than I should, but I'm going to put Mario music and
No, you know
sounds
what we should do?
over the trailer, and it's gonna be
No, you know what we should do?
what?
We should just wait for the movie to come out and then we'll dub over it.
If we could do that already, I would say we would be doing that with movies now. I just don't know if we can
Why
get
aren't we
away with
doing
that.
Okay, then why aren't we doing that?
Because I wanted to do Mystery Science Theater 3. I told you I wanted to do Team
Yeah,
4 Star.
Okay, but why did you choose Mystery Science Theater?
No, it's just an example.
Just not the concept.
I wanted to do Team 4 Star with you on something for a while.
Oh, okay. Well, like, so what do you want to choose?
But do you know what? Team 4 Star is constantly like having to defend themselves.
They freaking quit.
Yeah, but they had to deal with a lot of that.
What? Legal issues?
It's a parody. So in America, that is legally like fair use. And fair use is a fucked up thing in the first place. Like, it's very hard to understand. And in Japan, like I said, I looked that up since we talked last time.
Oh, is it illegal in Japan?
You don't have to get rights to anything. Like, automatically in Japan, when you make something, you have the rights to that. Like, so it's like your stuff is more protected better in Japan. The laws are stricter.
Has better protection.
Yes.
Come on, do you even grammars? Are you gonna continue?
I was just gonna see how long we could have silence in one of our episodes.
Well, you know that only works when you stream your camera back. Remember, hey. I don't have
Well, we got to fix that. I know, and the problem is, like I said, it's gonna take.
Say it's part of the reason why I don't film, because it's useless anyways.
It's not useless. Useless bang. Stupid dog. It seems like it was well received. Despite the Chris Pratt, I don't even know if you'd call it a controversy. You know what I heard about
I'll just tell it like it is. It fucked up.
Dude, I think they fucked up by...
Every time we see a video game movie, the first thing we see is a fuck up. Like,
with Sonic, they did it on purpose.
And about fucking Hollywood. They know that when they're doing video game movies that we are the most anal bunch there is.
Yeah, but they're not marketing it to you.
Thing is out of place. Everybody grows a neck beard immediately.
Do you know what I really think that's about?
Huh?
You know what I really think the answer to that is? When the Sonic movie came out and they dropped the way Sonic looked the first time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if this
doesn't matter. The movie still sucked.
I don't know if no, I thought, dude, everybody that I've heard talk about the Sonic movies was that they were good. I haven't watched either of them, but I've heard they were very good by Sonic.
I think, dude, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's rose-colored goggles for Jim Carrey, or Jim.
Eggman, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's Jim Carrey. Drew Carey is the guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Anyways,
and now he's on The Price Is Right.
Oh, he's the Price Is Right guy.
Yeah, he's been doing that for a long time. He's been doing that for a long time.
Dang, homeboy.
Since Bob Barker died, basically. R.I.P. to the G. There was the B.O.B. Parker. Barker, not Parker.
Spay and neuter your pets.
The thing that would always be on when you were homesick or at the dentist's office. The Price is Right.
It's the guy your mom's fantasizing about cheating on your dad with.
Maybe when he was like really young. I don't know if anybody was fantasizing about Bob Barker doing anything.
Yeah, he was.
Except giving them a bunch of money.
Yeah. Just
People
imagine.
get
Bob Barker hands me a giant old check, man. Like, just says big old cash.
Dude, I wonder if they just like hit the fucking audience with like aerosolized caffeine before that show, because those people look like they're ready to just rip things apart like with excitement when The Price is Right.
You know, it's just they straight up went and started like, hey, the seats we're going to give these out to are people who are going to really, have a good time. Are you going to have a good time? Because if you don't, we'll kick you out and give someone else, because there'll be plenty of people that line in the door. And that's how you get an active crowd.
True and real.
Yep, and it's the exact thing your television station would do. I mean, good God, look at Weinstein.
Oh, God.
I mean, dude, think about how the fucking, it makes you wonder about a lot of the actresses, about how much crap they had to put up with. Like, ugh. Don't like thinking about it. It's like, dude, it feels like more people should be in prison. That's all I say about it.
It's a good thing we're not live. There's a lot of stuff that we say would get clipped, and then like...
I don't think anything there was negative.
No, but I mean, just you saying there should be a lot more people in prison. Like if that was just the clip, because that's the way it works on streaming, dude. People are just constantly looking.
There should be a lot more people in prison.
I was listening to a Drama Time with Preach last night, and he mentioned at one point, it was like a story about like some guy who basically he was like in his 40s, and like him and this lady had a connection over a while. They went and met. They were 3 hours apart in Europe. They had a great time together. Then he just like stopped contacting her, and then she got in a relationship and like blah blah blah, and it didn't work out. And the guy never like just manned up and went and fucking. He's like, oh, shut it. And Preach is like, just call people. He's like, just call her. See if she's having a good time. You know what I mean? Like, tell her you just want to talk. Like, he's like, it's not that hard. It's not the moon and the stars. It's not fate. He's like, it's just picking up the phone and calling somebody. Like, and it was like, yeah, Preacher was on he was spitting. Like, it was, and then, like, he talks about, he's like, my grandmother got remarried at 87. And like, then he talks about the wedding at one point, and so people are like, he's like, oh, you people stop talking about, because of course the chat started to like talk about his granny, and then he was like, stop talking about the granny loving. And when it got to the next story, he was like, okay, what is the name of this guild? And they said Granny Lovin', and he's like, okay, we'll go with Granny Lovin'. And he's like, don't clip that. And it's like. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret.
If you say don't do this,
I'm fixing to say, if you don't know, people absolutely know what they're doing when they, like, if they're smart at all. Like,
yeah. And if you don't know, now you know.
I was like... I was going to try to say something that would fit there instead, but no. I just decided not to. We decided thought better of it.
That was a part where you just quiet. Just quiet.
Yeah, no, I think that the Mario movie definitely, like, I laughed so hard when I saw Donkey's reaction to the Nintendo Direct where they announced the cast. People memed the shit out of that because they were like, Chris Pratt. He's so cool. And then Donkey's like, he's so cool. Like, dude, he just starts laughing harder and harder as they keep announcing people. It was genuinely hilarious.
Who do you think they're going to cast for Yoshi?
For Yoshi. Okay, let's do it like this. Well, first of all, they should cast the voice actor. So let's get that out of the way. But who should they?
Wait. What if? What if they just dubbed Godzilla screams into everything? Anytime he opened his mouth, just I think it would be great.
I just took like the screaming goats from 8 or 9 years ago.
Oh, God,
like,
no. God dang, no.
You know who I want it to be?
I did. Besides,
you know who I want to be, Yoshi?
Backup singer.
You know who I want to be, Yoshi?
Who?
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, it should be Danny DeVito.
It
agree
could just
with
be
that.
Charlie, and then him and
Yeah.
Yoshi, him and Luigi
Oh,
can just
God,
straight
yeah,
up be always
Oh,
sunny. Like,
Oh God, I'm surprised more people don't watch that show. You know,
dude, that show's very popular.
Dude, that show is hilarious.
It is hilarious.
I'm gonna be honest. If you don't like that show, it's probably because you find too much of yourself in the characters.
I mean, if you can't do that and laugh, then you're missing the point of that show. Like,
I mean, it's just extremes, dude.
it's like it's smarter than people give it credit for too.
Oh yeah,
though.
dude, it's clever.
Without trying too hard, like
Yeah.
you know, it's not up its own ass. It doesn't go full Rick and Morty sometimes.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what
no,
I mean?
that's freaking more
Like
big problem. They've gone straight up their own ass.
at times, it's still a good show, but like yeah, definitely. It's
No, they've still got the formula, but they're teetering, man.
I haven't seen the only thing I've seen from the latest season was and I didn't even watch all the last season. There was that episode they put out on YouTube. You haven't seen that one?
No, I haven't seen the one on YouTube.
They put the first episode out from this last season out on YouTube.
Oh no, I watched all that with over it.
We'll have an episode come out on Halloween. We're going to be doing some spooky episodes.
We're gonna have a Bodhi themed episode for a bit.
I took a class on vampires in college that was really interesting, so I could tell you a lot about vampires.
Still can't
That'll be
believe
fun.
that was a college course.
It was a Russian Slavic culture course, basically.
Oh, so
The guy started out the class saying, "This is the
y'all
most
didn't have
bullshit."
special assignments. Y'all probably had special operations, right?
No, it was Spetsnaz. It was special. No, it was. He said at the beginning of the class, he stood up and was like, "This is the most bullshit class you're ever going to take," but it was one of the most fun ones. It was a lot of fun. Starting in the 1500s in like the Slavic countries of the world and their mythos and how the vampire legend came
So
about.
basically, y'all went through everywhere vampire show.
Everything up to modern times, basically. Everything up to modern times. Second half of the class would have been like everything in modern day literature and movies, basically. Then he hated Twilight. He would like get like very angry.
Those were fucking vampires.
Yeah, they were. Someone was fucking the vampires, which is
Not
usually what the
really.
vampires are doing anyway. But well, if you've been watching it on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thanks to everybody that's checked it out so far. Make sure to like it. Give us a comment. What scared you when you were a kid? When you're an adult?
When I'm an adult.
Anybody? Just let us know down in the comments what freaks you out. What's spooky to you?
Yes, give us this personal information. I will not weaponize it against you.
Not to say it's like the clowns scare a lot of people.
Well, dude, I mean, like most people, are like, oh, that's because of the Joker, or that's because of what's the other clown? It.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I think John Wayne Gacy's the reason why no one likes fucking clowns.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I think clowns are the reason that people don't like clowns.
Yeah, I guess we have carnies to thank for
I was
that.
gonna say it's carnies. It's carnies all the way down.
And then cue the music box music from Legend of Zelda.
From Two Stupid Dogs.
I don't think you can use that one.